Hello my sweet friends and welcome to DIY with Nadia. Today we are making a Dollar Tree Seahorse Deco Mesh Swag Wreath or a wall hanging, and it cost me under $10 to make. Let's get started. I'm using this beautiful little seahorse that I got at the Dollar Tree as my centerpiece, and then I'm using a 5-gallon wooden paint stir stick that I got at Home Depot. You could get it at your local hardware store. The Deco Mesh I'm going to be using is this kind of a light mint, also some white. Then I got some green pipe cleaners and some floral wire. I use the floral wire to make a little hook so I can hang this, because I try not to use anything that's hard for you to access. You know, some people make holes in it. If you have access to that, that's fine. I don't, so I'm going to show you how to do this and how to hang it up using just some floral wire. One of the best things about using this 5-gallon stir stick is this groove right here, and this groove, I promise you, is just enough to make a hook, and it's going to hold it in place. The first thing I grabbed was this 22 gauge wire. The piece that I cut is 16 inches, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to separate it. I'm going to put about 1/4 of the wire on this side, and then at the narrowest end right there, I'm going to just do 2 twists with the other side, and then I'm going to do 2 twists right at the top. Whatever the tail's left, I'm going to just twist it, and this will make my hook. Now with the wire that's left over, the little thin one, I put it through the bottom right here. After I pulled it through, I'm going to hold it and give it a few twists, just like this. And then this tail that I have left over, I'm going to wrap it around this area right here of the neck. This is just making it stronger and stronger and stronger. And it is done. And this hook, I'm telling you, pull all you want. It is not going to go anywhere. And as you can see, making this hook is super easy, no power tools involved, and it absolutely holds my swags in place. Now I'm going to flip it upside down, of course, because we want the hook to be in the back. Next, I'm going to grab 8 pipe cleaners, and the first thing you want to do is find your center. My center is 10.5 inches, and what you want to do here is you want to pull the pipe cleaner to one side, and that is where you're going to give it 2 twists. And then we're going to grab a second pipe cleaner. We're going to go in the same place, and then we're going to put it to the side, and that is where we're going to twist it. And we can just lay these flat. With the next pipe cleaner, you want to go about 2.5 to 3 inches in, and we're going to do the same thing we did on the other side. We're going to pull our pipe cleaner to one end, give it 2 twists, lay it down. Going to grab another one. Same thing, 2 twists, and lay it down. Same thing on this side, and usually it does come around where we have our little hook, so I'm just going to go underneath the hook. The leftover 2 pipe cleaners we're going to put right here in the center of these 2 and in the center of these 2. We're only going to use one at a time, and we're going to tie it to the top, not to the side like we tied all the rest of them. Just like that, straight in the middle. This next step is optional, but I highly recommend it, especially for this bottom part right here. And I really go to town and go heavy on that. And I'm just going to put a lot of hot glue right here, and even put my little felt piece over it, because I want this to be permanent, especially if it's going to be hanging and the weight is going to be right here. This is a very crucial point for the wreath, so definitely do that right there. The rest of them should be fine. And I decided, since I have this other piece, I cut this piece into like 2 little pieces. I'm going to put it right here also. This is raw wood, so it's going to hot glue it in place really well regardless. I decided to use 2 white and 2 green. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the white, then the 2 green, and then white on top again. And the reason I decided to add a white one is I want this green to stand out just a little bit more. I'm just going to collect it like I usually do. And I'm going to start right on top, give it a good twist or 2, and we're ready to make our first loop. So the first loop on top, I'm going to make it 12 inches because it needs to make this whole kind of loop going all the way around. And you can make anywhere from 10 to 12 inches, and you don't even have to measure. This is going to be a little bit more on like a loose side. I want these poofs to be quite big because we're going to put a seahorse right there. So right now what we're going to do is we're going to jump from this one to the middle one to the side, and we're going to go all the way around on the sides. And I think I'm going to keep it at 12 inches as we're going along. Look at these beautiful waves that we're making. Another 12 inches, and we're coming around to the other side. We're going to separate the layers so you're not going to see this hole right here. Here's what we did so far. We started right here on top on the side ones, and we made a loop to go to the other side. Then we made a loop to go to the next double, another loop to the opposite side, and then double and double pipe cleaners. And now we have the ones where they're single right here, and we're going to go to those. The distance is kind of short, so I made it 10 inches to go from the double to the single on top, and then another 12 inches, and we're going to go to the second single. At this point, we're going to make a loop on the inside. So let's measure. Nice 12 inches. And we're going to fill in this area right here. And we're kind of looping it onto itself right where we were before. 12. And we're kind of looping it onto itself right where we were before. And then what I'm going to do next is I'm going to cut off the white. And so I'm just going to make some loops. And I'm not sure that I'm going to have enough to do double. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make kind of loose loops right here. And then the rest of it that's left, I'm going to attach it to the double on top. And that will complete all my deco mesh. And we used it all up. And the tail, I'm not going to cut that away. I'm just going to let it stay there. That's going to cover some of that. And look at that, it just gave me a little bit more greenery. I'm going to take whatever's left of this greenery and I'm going to do the same thing. So I can see I'm going to twist it, and just a beautiful bubble to this middle double, just like that. I'm going to twist it. I'm going to cut off a tail a little bit because it's too long. And I'm going to just kind of work it right here to fill in that space. And look at this, just gorgeous and beautiful. At this point, I'm going to open it up very lightly. And what I'm basically doing is I want some of this green to show. I'm not touching the white. I'm just separating the top white layer and the green just a little bit. The ones on the ends, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take the white and the green and the white and separate it like that. Let's flip our swag upside down, and we're just going to take a look what's going on in the back. As far as our ribbon is concerned, we are going to need 6 ribbon bundles. For the bundles, I'm going to use this beautiful burlap ribbon. You can also use this one if you want. It's going to give you a little bit of white in there, and it's going to look pretty. I decided I just want this one. I'm going to be folding my ribbon into 10-inch strips, and I'm going to need 12 of them. When I got my 12, I'm going to go ahead and make dovetails with all the endings. Now I'm just going to take 2 of these at a time, crisscross them, bring them together in the middle, just like that. And I'm going to start adding them to the double pipe cleaners, just like that. Bring it together in the middle and add it to the other side. And we're going to do this going all the way down. This middle one, I know this part is going to be covered, so I'm just opening it up right here, sending one maybe behind, something like that, because I'm not going to add anything that I need pipe cleaner for. So I'm just going to twist it and send it to the back. Isn't it coming together beautifully? When it comes to the seahorse, it does come with this beautiful star. I kind of don't like the star, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint it white, and I feel like it's going to stand out a little better and look good with this white salty and happy sign. I'm going to grab some white chalk paint, and this is just Rust-Oleum in linen white, and I'm going to paint the star. I'm going to give it 2 coats just to make sure it's nice and solid on there. I gave my little starfish 2 coats of the white chalk paint. Now I'm going to grab some brown, and this is just by Craft Smart. My little starfish, the little grooves are going this way, but I'm still going to dry brush going in the direction that the wood is going. Just like that, if you feel like you put a little bit too much brown, you could definitely put a little bit more white on there, and I usually end up doing that anyway. The lettering on here does have a little bit of a black outline, so I'm going to use that as a little bit of an excuse to have my little star stand out a little bit more. The starfish does blend in, and if I just give it a little bit of black here and there. After I was done going over with the black, I just grabbed my white brush and just brushed over it just to soften that black up a little bit. When I was done painting the starfish, I did decide to go over it with some Mod Podge, and then I used some glitter from Walmart to put over it. That is why in the next step you're going to see a very glittery starfish. Now I'm going to bring my seahorse in, and I'm just going to try to see where I want to place it. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to the places where we have our single ones right here, because that's where I want to attach it. Draw where I want my pipe cleaner to go. I have my places marked. I have 2 of my little pieces of felt. You can use ribbon, fabric, anything you have on hand. And then I have 2 12-inch pipe cleaners. I'm going to first make kind of like a seat, just using my 2 fingers, dollop of hot glue. Then we're going to place a pipe cleaner on top, more hot glue, and then our piece of felt. And same thing on this bottom one. Just like that. I'm going to put the seahorse on the side real quick, and I'm going to grab this eucalyptus. And this eucalyptus, if you can see, it matches the wood on here really nicely. And it's like a dark olive maybe is what this shade is. It's not the green one that we're used to. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to take these little pieces, and I need 6 of them, to just put over, just hot glue it just like this to the center of the bows. This is going to cover that green pipe cleaner, and it's just going to give us a little bit of the eucalyptus. I'm just putting it right in the middle. Next, I decided to undo the singles that we had, and I'm going to use some of this additional eucalyptus. Let's measure how much we need of it. About there. I'm going to grab 4 of these. Next, I'm going to go around and just hot glue these in place, because I don't trust that they're going to stay in place. So just a little bit of hot glue, and I'm going to put them back on. Same thing with this bottom one, just a tiny bit of hot glue and put it back on. And I'm going to continue doing that with all of these. Now I'm going to take these 4 and grab some kind of pliers or something, and I'm going to make a little hook. This is a little bit of an extra step, but let's just go ahead and do that. I'm going to put it right here, and the reason I put the little hook is it's almost like an extra safety measure to make sure that it stays in place and doesn't just swing out. Obviously, yes, we can definitely put some hot glue on there, but I'm just using it as kind of precaution. Then I'm just going to tie it in place and hide this. Same thing on this side. Now let's put our seahorse right here, and I'm going to attach it. As you can see, this is where my single is, and that is where I'm attaching. First, I'm going to do lightly until I know that it's in the right place. Then let's do the top one. Now we can put our greenery in place where we want it, and if you want to put a little bit of hot glue to make sure it stays there, you can definitely do that. Or if you want to add extra greenery, I think actually maybe some greenery here might not be a bad idea, just like this. So maybe I'll just grab some, and I'm going to hot glue it in between our little seahorse and that Deco mesh. It'll stay in place. If you want to cover that little hole, you can definitely grab some of the ribbon and just kind of cover it with the ribbon or something like that. I decided to grab just a little piece of the eucalyptus, and I'm going to hot glue it in place. I'm going to hot glue the second leaf into place too, so it lays down flat. And it's just going to look like this little piece got caught on him. That's it. And we covered up that hole. I think this seahorse turned out absolutely cute. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. All I'm going to do right now is just play around with the ribbon, make sure it's where I like it to be, and I'm going to display it.